Call the meeting to order, the City of Frankfort Board of Commissioners. This is the October regular meeting. Today's October 27th. It's 5 p.m. And before we begin, if everyone will stand and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Richardson?
Here.
Commissioner Unger? Here. Commissioner May?
Here.
Commissioner Smith-Willis?
Here.
Mayor Wilkerson?
Present. And we begin tonight with the citizens' comments. We have a couple of folks here, and I'll invite you to the podium. We give you 5 minutes if you'll state your name, and we may have some questions or discussion after that. So first, Rachel Moore, if you want to come up.
Okay, so for those of you who do not know me, my name is Rachel Moore. I'm the executive director and founder of William Joseph Crisis Nursery, and I also work for Wanda Joyce Robinson Foundation. I'm very involved with the community with CARES, and I'm here on behalf of many of the local nonprofits. I'm sure you guys are aware that due to the government shutdown, many families in our community are going to lose SNAP benefits for the month of November, if not longer. The responsibility will ultimately fall on us as local nonprofits, the churches and the schools, and we already struggle with funding. We need to be proactive and come up with a plan to prevent this crisis. This is something that we've never had to navigate before. According to data provided by the Cabinet for Health and Family Services, 5,282 individuals in Franklin County are currently receiving SNAP benefits. 2,328 of those individuals are under the age of 18, and 730 are elderly participants ages 60 and above. Many in our community will be faced with the choice to either eat or pay their bills, and this will be a ripple effect. Temperatures are dropping, so people will be unable to pay utilities, and they will be without heat. With the lack of affordable housing, people are already struggling to pay their rent. Families will be evicted from their homes. We have no place to house them and very limited resources to help them financially. People are going to be desperate to make ends meet. Every month, Locals distributes 200 food boxes to the schools and 50 boxes to the community. Access distributes about 20 to 30 food boxes. Capital City Activity Center around 700 boxes, and the Salvation Army hands out around 50. I've personally had to go to the grocery for families recently who were turned down for food boxes because there are no resources, and those families already receive SNAP, so they're already not having enough. I've organized a committee consisting of organizations, churches, and individuals willing to help with planning for this emergency. I'm asking the city to join our planning efforts and help provide funding to feed our community. The planning committee will meet virtually this Thursday at 1, and please let me know how I can get you the link to join. And we will also meet Monday, November 3rd at 4:30 in the community room at Paul Sawyer Public Library. So I don't know if we have a plan as a community, if you all already have one, but we're going to need help navigating this.
Any questions or discussion for Ms. Moore? Commissioner May?
Real quickly, when was the virtual meeting this week?
Yes, this Thursday at 1.
Thursday at 1.
Mm-hmm.
November 3rd at what time?
4:30.
Commissioner Richardson?
So the third is the Paul Sawyer, right?
Mm-hmm. In the community room.
Is there an estimate? So we know the number of households and how much in monthly benefits are at stake here for the average household?
I'm not
Do you know?
sure. I wasn't able to find that data on the website.
And how are we have the director of the Access, men's shelter. Are we at capacity there?
Yes, we're at capacity. And our food boxes are basically emergency through the police department. If, the police department contacts me. We're not set up to give out hundreds of food boxes every month. It's a case-by-case emergency. The police will call. We have a family with children that there's no kids, and they call me, and we take care of it.
Yeah. Commissioner Smith-Willis?
Forgive me if I'm maybe just shooting at the stars for this. So the community fund that we have for the flood, is there a way that this can be intersectional for something like this? Or is that might be a question for them, but is there a way to work with people like, that have already have a fund established? Although it is designated for the flood relief, how can we, combine team efforts, collaborate? Because there's already funds established there. So sorry, Harry, if you're watching this and I'm just throwing it all out there, but it's just an idea.
So I'm on the committee for the community fund through CARES, and we still have families reaching out for major needs that we still haven't even communicated with. So we could maybe use some of those, but there's still a lot of unmet needs for the flood as well. I think Virginia maybe declared it a state of emergency, so I don't know how we could get Kentucky to do the same, but I think we're gonna have to depend on state funds. Like, this is gonna be huge. I don't think the city even has enough money to do that.
I think every community like ours is going to be, well, they're probably having these same conversations. So we thank you for coming and making everyone aware that's watching this, and it's going to be all hands on deck for the next few weeks until this is resolved. And it sounds like that the state's not even allowed to do anything on this. There was a Zoom call last week about it, so it's but we'll make sure that there's representation at that meeting.
Okay, thank you.
from-
I just feel like all the responsibility of this can't fall on the nonprofits or churches or schools, because we're already struggling, to fund our programs and stuff. So,
Agreed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next, Robert Howell. Welcome.
I'm Robert Howell. Last summer, I submitted a report, a concern, a request to frankfortky.gov regarding weeds and tall grass on the property adjacent to my backyard as a possible code violation. The area was inspected and determined to be woodlands with no violation. I met with the inspector and the manager and explained my disagreement. The manager said he understood my concern and offered to review the situation. The weeds have grown worse since then and extend onto my property, and I haven't the means to cut them back. I have a photograph from September 23rd. I request your assistance to have this property cleaned up and the weeds and tall grass cut back. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to voice my concern and set the record straight. I will be pleased to answer any questions you might have.
Commissioner?
What was the area again?
Well, my area is, my address is 202 Compton Drive, and the area of concern is 1015 Wilkinson Boulevard.
We'll certainly look
Thank
into
you.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and is that a city property? Well, I don't know
No, it's a Buffalo Trace property.
yet. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Howell. Any
Yes, sir.
questions, any other questions for Mr. Howell? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to ceremonial and recognition. We have a special presentation tonight for the City of Frankfort Fire Academy graduation. If representatives from our fire department will come forward and honor the graduates.
Hey, everyone. How are you all?
Hello.
Yeah, so we just wanted to come tonight, take a few moments to recognize our 2025 Citizens Fire Academy. It wasn't the biggest class, but it was a great class. They all came together really well, worked really hard together. Chief Clayton actually led this class. He taught all the classes, worked with our crews, and it was a really good time. So I actually wanted to give Chief Clayton a moment to just kind of talk about how the class went.
So this was kind of my last foray as a training officer for the fire department before I went back on crew. We did a lot of fun things. We got to dress up in our fire protective gear and our hazmat gear. We did a little flowing water, and then we really culminated the whole experience with a 9/11 stair climb up at KSU's football stadium where for about 52 minutes, which was the duration of time between the first terror attack where the plane hit the first building till the first building fell. So we got a little bit of taste of the hard work and effort and sacrifice that those men and women showed the nation that day, just a little bit. We had a really great time, and I want to thank them for participating and for getting to kind of see a little bit of taste of what we do, but also reminding us where we came from as citizens. So that was a great opportunity. I appreciate you, Chief, for letting me be a part.
So again, like I said, it wasn't the biggest class. I think the police, their Citizens Police Academy, they get a bigger class, but they like feed them steak and they sit around in the classroom. We work really hard, you know. We go out and we train, so.
I was alone.
I know. Well, Chief Napier was talking trash back there, so I had to get my jabs in. But, so the first one is Tish Shade. She's not here tonight, but I'll call them up. So we have Tiffany Serafini. And then she was chaperoning her hardworking son, Dalton Serafini. Then we have Thomas True. We have Perrin Thompson. And then I feel like there's one more. I don't know. Katima Smith Willis. No, I just. So they all got a certificate for graduating the class, and then Chief Clayton actually gave them a challenge coin. And that means something special for us to give you all a challenge coin. And that was just graduating the class, coming out, being at the KSU stair climb with us. So if you all want to come around, we'll get a picture, and then we'll get out of your hair. I don't have anybody to take a picture. Huh?
What class number is it?
This is two. That's our second.
Two, that's okay, because you know, I started class one. We've been doing it a little while.
That's what I just said.
How do you like that, Chief? And now I got to stand beside us.
Wait, here, you put your.
1, 2, 3. All right, drop Marshall out.
By the way, I bet Chief thinks you got started.
See ya.
Oh, I'm already out of my class. Yeah, I'm doing it. You want this one later, right? That's all right.
Well, everyone left.
Everybody left. They do it to
So
us every time.
we'll move on to consent calendar.
I don't even feel like I need to read this right now. Everyone's gone. First item on the consent calendar, the minutes from work session September 8th, 2025, a regular meeting September 22nd, 2025, special meeting September 25th, 2025, and special meeting September 29th, 2025. Item number 2 is the MOU between University of Kentucky College of Medicine, Department of Pediatrics, and the City of Frankfort for the Fathers of Frankfort program. Item number 3 is a revised old landfill maintenance agreement with Colin Jones. Staff request approval of a revised maintenance agreement with Colin Jones for the maintenance of the old city-owned landfill, and for the mayor to sign all related documents. There will be an increase in this. The increase is not budgeted, therefore, a budget amendment of $38,000 will be required to fund this request. Item number 4 is a request to approve amendment number 1 for EZ Construction. Staff request approval of amendment number 1 with EZ Construction Incorporated for structural work on the sidewalk adjacent to the McClure Building, and for the mayor to sign all related documents. Total cost, $29,808.65. This is funded through bond proceeds. Item number 5 is the 2025 strategies to support children exposed to violence grants. Staff request authorization to apply for 2025 strategies to support children exposed to violence program funds in the amount of $860,000, and to authorize the mayor to sign all related grant documents, including a MOU with Wanda Joyce Robinson Foundation. There is no match for the city on this grant. This grant we are applying on behalf of Wanda Joyce Robinson. Item number 6 would be personnel actions. We have an appointment, David Perez, Public Works Transit, 10/7/2025 transit driver. Appointment, Chessa Stevens, Public Works Transit, 10/7/2025 transit driver. We have an appointment, Javon Bush, Public Works Solid Waste, 10/21/2025 Public Works Tech Solid Waste. We have an appointment of Noah Medley, E911, 10/7/2025 E911 telecommunicator. A resignation of John Unger, Public Works Transit, 10/3/2025 transit driver. A termination of Benji Clem, Sewer Department, 10/17/2025 plant operator. Resignation, Shannon Sparks, Finance, 10/27/2025 license and accounting specialist. A resignation from David Perez, Public Works Transit, 10/22/2025 transit driver. And a termination of Timothy Weber, Public Works Solid Waste, 10/22/2025 Public Works Tech Solid Waste.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the consent calendar? Commissioner Richardson.
Just got two things that I just want to point out on number 5. That is the 860,000. That's not a matching, correct? I just
Correct.
put that on record. That's a full grant they would receive.
Yeah, they would receive it. We're just a pass-through for them.
Okay, and then the second, on number 3, on the old landfill, I remember when that first came, I spoke to Mr. Jones. I just think this is our responsibility. I'm not big on, I know it was a non-budgeted item, but it's our responsibility. Whether it happened decades ago, 50 years ago, I just think that's a good thing that we're owning up to our responsibility on that.
Clerk, will you please call the vote?
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Unger?
Yes.
Commissioner May?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith Willis?
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson?
Yes. The consent calendar is adopted. I move on to one discussion item tonight.
We have one discussion item. We have Eric Cockley, the Director of Planning and Community Development, to discuss the update on the zoning code rewrite.
Evening, everybody.
Hi.
Yeah, so work continues on the development code rewrite. As you all know, you approved funding to help the Planning Commission fund both our new comp plan, which we completed, and then now the rewrite of both the city and county's development codes entirely, which hasn't been done since about 26, 27 years. Work continues. We have drafted all or portions of, up to this date, all but 2 articles. The zoning ordinance is broken down into articles, if you will. Think of them as chapters. It's been, we meet with the consultant every other week. And, so far, that's 241 pages drafted up to this date. So we still work through those every other week with our call with the consultant. We'll start going over a chapter. We just this past week started going over the first draft of their landscape chapter and continued discussion of a buffer chapter. But yeah, we continue. Our original scope and plan of work was to hopefully have this process complete middle of 2026, scheduled for May, we hope. I think we're broadly still on track for that. Happy to answer any questions you have. The one thing I would add is just as a reminder, one of the nice things about doing this immediately following the adoption of a new comp plan is that it enabled us to think about the direction we wanted to go with this during that comp plan. So we really do have, some specific directives that I think we got from the community about what to do within this development code rewrite, and we're working to include all those things.
Any questions or discussion? Thank you, Eric. Commissioner Unger.
Well, I appreciate the update, and I was able to ask you a couple questions earlier today, and I just want to make sure I sort of get those out during the meeting as well. But I was wondering if anyone listening or anybody here knows Strong Towns. It's a nonprofit that I follow, and I've read some of the books related to what they sort of put out there for cities. And they talk about complete streets, and I was wondering how this might help address complete streets. So that would mean that streets are, safe for pedestrians, cars. We're looking at, widths of streets, and so that everybody's safe near and on the road. And I was just wondering how this might address complete streets.
Sure. I mean, part of the regulations that we're rewriting are incorporating what we call our subdivision and development plan regulations today, which are where we have those required street typicals, streetscape requirements, things like that, connectivity. That's going to be lumped into what we're referring to as our universal development code, rather than have a separate zoning ordinance and subregs. But yeah, certainly we'll be looking at those street typicals, at the things we want to require. I know some of the other things that our current code kind of has blinders on about, and this has come up with the Parcel B redevelopment, and looking at things like the Home Street project and Second Street, is that we don't really have a good set of different urban street typicals for things just like that, so we can kind of address that in case we have another, significant redevelopment downtown. But yeah, certainly, we'll be thinking about some of those principles from both Strong Towns and just generally speaking, the concept of complete streets, so, sure.
Commissioner Smith-Willis.
I was just going to say thank you for also, I was with you and Commissioner Unger and Mr. Jason earlier, so just that conversation itself kind of was an eye-opener for me, being a newly elected commissioner. So I just really wanted to say thank you for your work on this. And also, I was thinking about our core values and how we're always talking about sustainability, but I think creativity is a really huge part of this rewrite. And I just look forward to continuously having this conversation, but also just making it a little bit more easier for people to want to develop and grow here within Frankfort.
Anybody else? So who is we? You and Autumn are meeting with the
Both planning
consultants?
staffs and our consultant team have been doing most of the heavy lifting. We, at one point, had a planning commission chairperson that was a little bit more involved and wanted to sit in on some of these meetings, even though it's really largely a consultant and staff kind of driven thing. But right now, it's mostly just us every other week. And then doing work in between and shooting back and forth notes and revisions and that kind of thing,
So
so.
when do we get to take a look at this and see if some of those things like Commissioner Unger was bringing up are in the new code rewrite?
I mean, officially, it won't come to you until the end of the process. I mean, I'm more than happy to get you access if you actually, want to read through. As I mentioned, it's, it's quite a bit of a technical document, or if there's any particular things, for example, complete streets or something that are important to you to have included, then we can, give me a shout and we can get together and go over if we've got a draft chapter with that particular thing. That might be easier than shooting you a 200-plus page document and having you spend the time to go through and find maybe the 2 or 3 things that are really important to you.
I have a few that I just want to make sure that we're addressing.
Yeah.
Lot sizes and parking minimums and ADUs. And along those lines with
Yes,
the
yes, and
ADU,
yes.
we recently passed the ability to do ADUs in South Frankfort, right? And are there any of those other things that we could go ahead and do and not wait for the code rewrite? I mean, because we were waiting on ADUs for the code rewrite, but then we went on and did it. So are there any other, like lot sizes or parking, anything that we can go on and pass and not wait on this?
I mean, you are the legislative body, you can pass anything you want. The reason that unless we've had a very immediate need to do that is just because we're working through all this stuff kind of together. And if we start pulling pieces apart, then that just, it means extra effort now to like amend that in our current ordinance while we're simultaneously, it's not as straightforward. But, I mean, you are capable of amending any of those things. I will tell you, though, that everything you just mentioned, I mean, many of those things came from directives we got in the comp plan, and I can tell you from the drafts that we've been working, those things have all been part of our discussion about gentle density, possibly lowering lot sizes, more contextual setbacks and bulk density and height to create, to solve some of the problems that have already been created by our existing code, allowing things like ADUs in many of our zoning districts that don't currently, including different housing types, and a bit more diversity in even those single detached zones so that we can get affordable housing. All those things we've talked early and often with our consultant team about. And we've made it clear what we're thinking about parking as well. And so we haven't delved into that particular chapter in depth, but that's also on my own priority list, for
We
sure.
need more housing in the city, we need density in the city, more population.
Amen.
What's the timeline here, do you think, before we're voting on it?
As I said, mid-2026 is the goal.
Yeah.
You know, I went through there, as I said, there's 13 chapters, 13 articles, and we have some, if not a significant portion, drafted on all but 2 of those. So we've got a Dropbox open with all of this available. And yeah, it's just kind of, the comp plan was our significant kind of public engagement part of this, and a lot of this is just, it's a different animal. It's more of that sort of technical, just hard slog through the document and work and back and forth with the consultants before we have something ready to kind of present to the public and get some input, share back with our stakeholders we met with early on in the process to get some of those folks that are used to using our code in the community. If you recall, we met with them before we even started the rewrite to get some ideas, some criticisms of the current code, some hopes for the proposed code, and I can tell you from our conversation just last Thursday, we were talking about within the landscape chapter, actually something that came directly from one of those stakeholders that we were talking about, strategies to incorporate. So we're very much trying to take the input that was received through stakeholders in the comp plan process and make sure we're holding ourselves accountable to deliver.
Wait,
Commissioner Unger?
Just a quick follow-up. So, along with just something that I would like to see, abolishing the parking mandates, the lot sizes, and possibly even allowing and we sort of talked about this earlier, 2 to 3 unit developments within any neighborhood. So I know some communities have basically created a housing plan or housing types that could easily be, put into certain neighborhoods depending on lot size. Do you have any experience with that, or do you think that might be a good idea?
Are you referencing when they have templated plans that are
Yeah,
pre-approved?
like what if our housing committee pre-approved some
Yeah.
potential plans or ideas of, duplexes or triplexes or, do you think that'd be helpful?
That's going to be a little bit different scope from what we have from the consultants, but it's ironic that you would say that because in our discussion last Thursday about landscaping in particular, the idea came up because we were discussing what we had heard from one of our stakeholders, which was that he would like to see that our landscape requirements are a bit more like consistent and thematic. Basically where when you come into Frankfort and Franklin County, it's not just, oh, they have landscaping, they require landscaping, but it has sort of its own character in some way, so you can tell like you're in this place. And we were discussing that, and one of the ideas that we came up with, that the consultant suggested, is to consider doing just that and have like pre-approved landscape buffer designs with species and everything, where you
Yeah.
can say, hey, you can copy and
Yeah.
paste this into your development plan.
Makes it easy too.
And it'll be very, it'll be the same as many other developments might have used, and also right off the bat that it's approvable. And a lot of communities have done that with housing designs and that kind of stuff. That's a different investment we'd have to make. And a lot of the communities that do that probably have more issues with getting quick approvals than we really do, thankfully. But it doesn't make it necessarily a bad idea to consider.
Okay. I like that about the landscaping idea too. Okay, thank you.
We've talked about that the pattern book approach, where we would pay for the design, architectural drawings, 3 or 4 or 5 different models, and if the developer wants to build that, and they're approved. They know they can get it through faster. Anybody else? We good?
Oh, thank you.
Right. Thank you for your
Thank you.
input. And then moving on to action items.
First item is a second reading.
An ordinance fixing the rate of taxation for the year 2026 on all motor vehicles and levying said tax for all city purposes. This ordinance fixes the rate of taxation for the year 2026 at the sum of 22.7 cents on each $100 valuation on all motor vehicles subject to taxation in the city.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion on this motion? You keep the rate the same. If not, I'll ask the clerk to call for the vote.
Commissioner Richardson,
Yes.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Commissioner May,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith Willis.
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
Yes. Motion carries.
Action item number 2 will be another second reading.
All right, motion to table this one.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion on the motion to table? I think this just applies to one company, and we're going to see if they, not everything's settled yet, I don't think, so. Any other? Not, I'll ask the clerk to call for a vote to table this motion.
Okay. Commissioner Richardson,
Yes.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Commissioner May,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith Willis.
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
Yes, so that motion is tabled. Action item number 3.
We have another second reading.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 9, 2025 series appropriating the revenue to be received by the city of Frankfort for the fiscal year 2025-2026. This ordinance amends ordinance number 9, 2025 series appropriating the revenue to be received by the city for the fiscal year 25-26 by adding the following expenditures and transfers out as noted. General fund, $553,847. Transfers from general fund, $199,029. Capital improvements, $199,029. Sewer fund, O&M, $350,000. And by adding the following revenue and transfers in as noted, capital improvements, $66,964, all aggregate total.
Motion to approve. Second.
Any discussion? If none, I'll ask the clerk to call for a vote.
Commissioner Richardson,
Yes.
Commissioner Unger,
Yes.
Commissioner May,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith Willis.
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson.
Yes, and that motion carries.
Action item number 4 is another second reading.
An ordinance amending the City of Frankfort's Code of Ordinances, Chapter 150, by amending the permit and inspection fees contained in subsections 150.1 building codes. This ordinance had its first reading on September 22nd, 2025. The ordinance amends the city's building and electrical code fees, Chapter 150, Section 150.01, to delete all outdated fees and exemptions thereto and replace them with updated fees as set forth in the chart in Section 150.01.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? If none, I'll ask the clerk to call for the vote.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Unger?
Yes.
Commissioner May?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith Willis?
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson?
Yes, and that motion carries. Action item number 5 is a first reading in search of a sponsor.
I will sponsor.
Commissioner May?
All right. An ordinance amending Frankfort Code of Ordinances, Chapter 38, Ambulance Service, Section 38.30. This ordinance amends Section 38.30 of the City of Frankfort Code of Ordinances related to ambulance billing rates to increase the rates for basic life support, advanced life support, specialty care transport, and special procedures, and establish new charges for basic and advanced life support, disposable supplies, and treatment without transport.
Motion to approve.
We don't need a motion on
sorry.
this one, but any discussion? Chief Carpenter did a great job presenting last time. I think
I was so excited, emotion, sorry.
we're ready. If not, no discussion, we'll move on to action item number 6.
Action item number 6, we have a surplus property order from the fire department. And staff is seeking approval to declare a 2006 Ford E450 Super Duty bus as surplus property and authorize the mayor to sign all related documents.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Not? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Unger?
Yes.
Commissioner May?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith Willis?
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson?
Yes. And that motion carries. Action item number 7.
Action item number 7 is a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Frankfort, Kentucky, declaring the city's intent to reimburse itself for the cost of capital expenditures from the proceeds of tax-exempt obligations, fire. This would be the bond for the fire station.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion on this reimbursement resolution? I'll ask the clerk to call for a vote.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Unger?
Yes.
Commissioner May?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith Willis?
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson?
Yes. Motion carries. And action item number 8.
Number 8 is an updated interlocal agreement and resolution for the Aquatic Center Facility and Wellness Center Facility. This update was removing Frankfort Independent. They voluntarily removed from there, and it's just getting the approval, you all to vote on that again with no other changes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion on this resolution or the updated agreement? If not, I'll ask the clerk. Call for a vote.
Commissioner Richardson?
Yes.
Commissioner Unger?
Yes.
Commissioner May?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith Willis?
Yes.
Mayor Wilkerson?
Yes. And that motion carries, and that's the end of our published action items. We move on to unfinished business. I don't believe we had any. I was not in person last time, so I don't think we had any, though. Any new business to come before the board? Commissioner Unger?
I was gonna make a statement about the SNAP benefits as well, so I'm really glad Rachel came in to speak about that. And I was just gonna say, you know, the emergency Frankfort Food Pantry will always take donations. You can do that really easily online. I think that's a good way to help out if you want to. So I just want to get that out there, and it's frankfortfoodpantry.org is their website. And I was gonna bring up a couple other things, especially these are sort of like 2 downtown issues. There's been a lot of cars parking on Yellow downtown and also like in the crosswalks. So I'd like to see enforcement on that. I know it's definitely hard to visually see when you're trying to cross the street when they're parked like on the crosswalk. So enforcement on that would be great. And then I've also been hearing a lot from neighbors and my children about the noisy vehicles around town and downtown, as well as the gun range. So that's, you know, I'm getting emails and texts and calls whenever people hear the gun range. And, you know, I try to, you know, some people are scared because just afraid there might actually be somebody out there shooting. So I think that's something I'd like to discuss, as well as some of the noisy vehicles that might be down and around downtown. I forwarded an email earlier this morning that I received actually a year or so ago. So I sent that again, and just to sort of let us all think about how we might be able to deal with some of that, because we have like, cars with modified mufflers, or, just issues with noise, nuisance sort of issues, and also speeding. So just wanted to bring some of that up.
Question about the gun range. Well, don't they have they have hours that they operate, correct? Like, at the gun range, from what I learned from the Citizens Police Academy. So I know they operate within the windows that are outside the noise ordinance. So I guess maybe it's relooking at that, maybe revisiting that. But from what from my understanding is they try to operate within a respectful time frame to practice. But I mean, I do think it's something that we can definitely look into. But I just was curious.
Maybe we'll
Was
put
that
it
right
on
on
an
that?
upcoming, maybe a work session item, if anybody, we can just talk about, because I get complaints too about it, and there's some days it's really loud. And if you don't know, if you're a tourist here and a visitor, and you don't know, you probably wonder. But that's, Commissioner
Well,
Richardson.
part of the problem is, ever since the tower was taken down, that highly affects the range. It's the baffling system. There are baffling systems you can put over the range. I've been part of many of those systems that will cut down on the sound, echoing. You just got to remember where the range sits. It's where it sits in that valley, and after that tower was taken down. And believe it or not, I didn't realize, I don't think anyone realized, how that baffled that sound echoing, especially through downtown. So that is, I live up the hill from there. I can hear it. Obviously, I know what it is. But I will tell you this, it also affects Benson Valley Range. So there's two ranges down there. You got to realize, one's on the other side of the creek, so to speak. But Benson Valley Range, sometimes late at night, though, that is, I know for a fact, because I'm very in tune with what the police department's doing down there. I know that's not the police department's range, it's Benson Valley's range that's making that noise.
Got you.
So I just kind of want to point that out. There is another range down there.
Cool.
Thank you. And any other new business? If not, we move on to board comments, which is Commissioner Smith Willis.
I just wanted to put it on the community's radar, if you were not aware, that Wednesday, November the 12th, from 5 to 7 at the Paul Sawyer Library, the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet is having a public meeting about the Singing Bridge. So I know this is a really big topic for our community. I love that it's a public meeting. So if you are curious about the preliminary designs and things of sorts with that project, I definitely would stop by the library on November the 12th from 5 to 7 to hear what's happening with the Singing Bridge.
And I'll follow up on Commissioner Unger's discussion about the food pantry. I was out there last week. They received a $50,000 grant from Cummins Engines, and who are now across the street where Meritor was. And so that they have expanded, and of course it's an all volunteer-run organization. As far as I know, they don't ask for city funds, and that's going to be, as Ms. Moore said earlier, it's going to take all of us to deal with this situation come November, and I don't know if we really have a handle on how bad this could get, and or how long it's going to go on. So I think we just I'm glad that it's on our radar.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned.